Amandla, Maibwe, Africa, Aluta, comrades, friends, as I was sitting there, I had to keep on looking at the speaker on my left. And first, with due respect, it was Comrade Park, and then it was Comrade Mohammed, sloganeering. But there was a comrade that was far more interesting for me and far more important. And I quickly want to say something about that comrade and latch it to the struggle of South Africa today and the Palestinian people. It is this comrade here on my left. And this comrade was always on our left. And she was always a part of the left. The rooms in Kosatu House are named after the veterans of our liberation struggle. This room is named after Comrade Ray Alexander. Comrade Ray Alexander was 90 years old when she passed away, I think in 2014. Comrade Ray was a refugee from Latvia. At the age of 13, she joined the resistance in Latvia. And she was jailed for joining the Communist Party. She fled as a refugee to South Africa. Shortly after that, at the age of 15, a refugee from the persecution of the Jews in Latvia and the persecution of the communists in Latvia. And of course, she was born into a Jewish family. She was a Jew until she died, but she joined the Communist Party at the age of 13. When she came to South Africa, she immediately became a part of what was known as the white left in earlier years. I had met Comrade Ray on the streets of Lusaka, where she was in exile with her husband Jack. And I had met Comrade Ray in London, where she was an active member of the ANC, already into her late 60s. She remained an active member and a unionist in South Africa throughout her life, went into exile, continued to support the unions from there, and we marched the streets of London together in demonstrations against the apartheid regime. I also had the good fortune of having a stay about 200 meters away from our place in Cape Town in Rosebank. Her and her husband, Jack Simons. The two of them wrote the most important documentary work on the history of the workers' struggle in South Africa. It's called Race and Color in South Africa. So here we had a comrade. Comrade was Jewish. The comrade was white. The comrade was a refugee in our country. The comrade walked the streets of Zambia, was trained in the military, in our military. The comrades walked the streets of London as an ordinary ANC member and a part of the leadership of our workers' movement. And today in our country, and this will always be the case, there are contestations all the time about what our struggle was about, what is our nation to be. And these contestations will happen all the time. And people will enter our struggle formations, and they will come in under the guise of, want to take the ideals and the program of the movement forward. And they'll come in for careerist objectives. They will enter our diplomatic corps as deployed cadres of the movement. And once they are there, they will start thinking, how do I promote myself? How do I secure deals for myself? Our struggle is to ensure that, firstly, we don't betray the memories of the many, many Ray Alexanders that our country had produced. But it's not a sentimental kind of thing, what the PLO did for us, what the broader left, how Mandela was treated in Algeria, what the broader international solidarity movement did for us, and therefore we owe them a debt. That is part of the reasons for why we are in solidarity with the Palestinian people. But the big reason is this, comrade. We are in a battle for the soul of our country. Is our country going to remain a part of those working class masses in struggles against exploitation, against the appropriation of their land, struggles against economic exploitation, struggles against occupation, the struggles for indigenous people's rights? Or is our country, in the name of our own development, the working class can kiss my ass, I've got the boss's job at last? So now, we are now a part of the nations that have arrived, and we turn our backs on our own history and on the people who fed us and who sustained us during our liberation struggle. And so in conclusion, from a BDS perspective, our struggle is not entirely about the past and the memories and the affection that Mandela had for Yasser Arafat. Our struggle is how do we remain loyal to the revolutionary, the anti-colonialist, the anti-exploitation, the anti-capitalist new formation that pretends that it has always been on the side of freedom. So comrades, BDS is a niche, and it's a small niche in the struggle to ensure that we do not betray our own dreams. Finally, comrades, selling out is not a single act. Selling out is a process. And our own movement is a human movement. And because our own movement is a human movement, our own movement also becomes the object of being captured, of being taken over, of, in the name of diplomacy, in the name of development, sell out to the interests of the working class and oppressed people throughout the world. And so it is actually a struggle for our country. It's actually a struggle for our movement, but it's also a struggle for who we really want to be and become. Thank you very much.